All right, let's talk about something super practical. You're a skilled, certified forklift operator, right? And then, boom, a fantastic job opportunity pops up, but it's in another state. So the big question is, can that certification you worked so hard for travel with you? That's exactly what we're going to figure out right now. Let's dive in. Okay, so picture this. You've put in the hours, you've passed the tests, you've got that forklift certification in your hand. But then that dream job shows up on your feed and it's a state over. That's when that one critical question hits you. Is this piece of paper, my license, actually going to be enough to even get my foot in the door? So let's not beat around the bush. The short answer? Yeah, usually it is. Your certification is almost always portable. But, and this is a big but, that yes comes with some really important conditions. And that's what we're going to get into right now, the details that really matter. So why is it a yes most of the time? I mean, how can a certification from one state be good in another? Well, it all boils down to one single federal agency that basically sets the standard for the entire country. Think of it as the ultimate federal green light, and that's what makes this whole thing possible. And that agency? It's OSHA. You've definitely heard of them, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Because OSHA's standards are federal, they apply across all 50 states. It's kind of like having a national driver's license, but for forklifts. The fundamental rules of the road, how to operate safely, are the same whether you're in Florida or Alaska. And that, right there, is the secret sauce to why your certification is so portable. So if you're an employer looking at a resume, what makes them say yes to your out-of-state cert? Well, it checks a few really crucial boxes for them. First, they know your training meets those federal OSHA requirements we just talked about. Second, your certificate has verifiable details, like when you were trained and by whom. And third, it's proof that you have the core skills down. The fundamentals of operating a forklift don't really change whether you're in Miami or Seattle. Okay, so we've established the big federal green light. Awesome. But just like on the road, there are some yellow lights you need to watch out for. It's time to talk about those potential roadblocks, the things that could actually slow you down or even stop you. All right, so what are these roadblocks we're talking about? Well, for one, every single work site is unique. Your new job might have specific hazards. Think chemical storage areas, super narrow aisles, or a different type of forklift you haven't used before. Your old training just wouldn't have covered that stuff. Then you've got states or even individual companies that have their own stricter safety rules that go way beyond the federal minimum. And honestly, the biggest and most common issue? An expired or incomplete certification. That'll stop you in your tracks every time. Okay, so knowing all that, how do you actually navigate around these roadblocks? The answer is simple. You've got to be proactive. You can't just show up and hope for the best. So here's a super straightforward 3-step action plan to make sure your transition is as smooth as possible. First up, step 1, verify your own stuff. Seriously, pull out your certification. Is it up to date? Does it have all the required OSHA info? Step 2, get in touch with the new employer. Don't wait for them to ask you. Be proactive. Email them a copy of your cert and just ask, hey, does this meet your requirements? It showed you're on top of things. And finally, step 3, expect to do site-specific training. And look, this isn't a knock on your skills. It's not a retest. It's all about getting you up to speed on the unique layout, the specific equipment, and the particular hazards of their workplace. All right, now let's zoom in a little closer on one of those roadblocks we mentioned, those stricter state rules. You see, while OSHA sets the federal floor, some states have what are called state plans. This means they run their own safety programs that are often even stricter than the federal ones. So if you're planning a move to one of these states, you've definitely got to pay extra attention. For example, you've got places like California with Cal OSHA or Washington and Michigan with their own state agencies. These guys often have much more stringent safety regulations. Now, this doesn't automatically make your certification invalid, not at all, but it does mean you should expect more rigorous enforcement and probably some extra state-mandated training. The bottom line here is simple. If your destination is one of these states, you absolutely have to do your homework before you go. Okay, let's pull all of this together into a final takeaway. To make sure you are 100% ready for that move, think of this as your personal portability checklist. These are the key things you need to remember. So here's what it really all boils down to. First, your OSHA certification is your strong starting point. That's your foundation. But remember, the new employer always has the final say. Always expect to do site-specific training. It's a key part of the process. Your documentation is your power, so keep those records handy and organized. And last but not least, if you're heading to a state with its own plan, do that little bit of extra research. It'll save you a ton of hassle. Look, at the end of the day, your skills as a great forklift operator are needed everywhere. They're absolutely portable. So the real question isn't if your skills can cross state lines, it's whether your paperwork can. Make sure you're just as prepared on paper as you are on the machine.